A liminal space? Well, a liminal space, by definition, is a transitory, transitional kind of space. A space that leads from one place to another. So, like a hallway. A hallway could be liminal. An empty road is liminal. As with anything, though, the strict definition can be worn down over time as more and more deviation from the strict definition of the thing are seen and shared. So that's how you end up with a bathroom being liminal, or the inside of a juice box as liminal. Is it the dictionary meaning of the word? No. Is it good enough for sharing with you all? Yeah, I'd say so. Well, I suppose anything could be liminal. It's really a kind of a perspective thing, isn't it?
When the whole liminal space thing became popular, well, I instantly gravitated towards the genres as I'd always been into these odd interior spaces, even as a little kid. You know, I loved hanging out in schools and churches after hours, being in empty malls, finding strange little cubbyholes and forgotten areas of buildings. My family would often host big shows at convention centers, and, well, I would have free reign of a giant complex all by myself. All this is to say that, well, I was familiar with these kind of weird spaces, and so when I started delving into liminal space lore and media, well, I started to wonder why I felt a sense of comfort in this genre instead of the usual fear, horror, empty dread. I know I'm not alone in this, but I honestly feel so welcomed and comforted and invited when I see photos and videos of liminal spaces. And I've always wondered why. Well, flash forward to yesterday, when one of those moments happened, when you suddenly get slammed with an incredibly vivid childhood memory, and it's so visceral that it instantly transports you back to that time, right back to the time and place. My grandmother had a set of some Yankee candles on our kitchen table. Nothing out of the ordinary, as we always had some kind of candle burning. Anyhow, I don't know what it was about this particular grouping of scents, but it instantly flooded my senses with the memory of going to the Yankee Candle Village in Massachusetts. It had to be somewhere around 2003 or 2005, sometime in the fall. I remember pulling up to the building and marveling at how massive this building was. I was at least 9 years old at the time, and it seemed so huge. When we went in, it was oddly empty, and seemed so much bigger inside versus the outside. The main sections of the building were long giant halls filled with little candles, and spread throughout the complex were multiple smaller rooms, each having their own unique feel and atmosphere. There was a Lego room. I was in heaven. Darkly lit room filled with armor and dragon statues, trees, and artificial snow falling from the ceiling in another room. Every couple of minutes, I was in completely a different mood, a different vibe, a different atmosphere. But at any moment, it was like I could step out into the main hall again and see it stretching seemingly endlessly in each direction. Oh, the scent, it was so strong. But it changed every second as you walked past a different bin of candles. Oh, it added to this trippy feeling. Really, the whole place was so trippy. You'd walk into a brightly lit room and you'd smell flowers and cut grass. And then you'd walk into a dimly lit room with black ceilings and the smell of cinnamon and fall spices, spruce trees. Oh gosh, you know, since the place was practically empty, my parents let me explore all around any place I wanted. Oh, I felt like a whole universe in every room. I constantly saw more doorways leading to more and more rooms and other great hallways, and this definitely stands out to me as my first super lineal space experience because, well, it was the first time that I can remember realizing that feeling of creepiness and yet being comforted all at the same time. And when it was time to go, I distinctly remember feeling kind of sad and depressed even. As if I could have spent my entire vacation in that one building, filled with all those different rooms, and be just perfectly content and happy. Does anyone else, I wonder, have memories of visiting such a place? If you do, put them in the comments down below. I'm interested.